Okay. If you want to follow us on Twitter, we changed our handle to @MediaLibrary, so feel free to do that. And then if you want to tweet about the event today, it looks like Medial Lug, but it's meant to be Medial UG, as in Medial User Group. Use that hashtag, and then at least we've kind of got a record of what people thought of the event if you want to tweet about it. So for those people that are here that aren't familiar with who we are, it's not that many people, but I thought I'd include the slide anyway. We're streaming, limited, started in 2008 in the UK. We make media library software. The bit of software that we make was called Helix Media Library, won lots of different awards with the Streaming Media Magazine Reader's Choice Award. I'll come on to another one of those in a second. We've got over 250 customers in lots of different countries. And I'd say it's probably not quite that accurate, but maybe 35-ish% of our customers are in the UK now. In the US now. In the UK, I think last time I looked, we had about 40-odd universities in the UK that used our software. So if you ever need to speak to another uni, best time to do it is today, to be fair, because a lot of the people from the kind of the southeast and also from elsewhere are here today. But if you want to speak to somebody closer to home, one of the ideas that we've got for next year is we're going to kind of go on a little bit of a road show and then do regional events so that people can get together regionally as well. So Scotland, for example, and the north, because we do it in London. It is quite a long way to come. I mean, we've got John here today that comes all the way from Stornoway, so credit to him for making the journey. So this year we were a finalist in the Streaming Media Magazine Reader's Choice Award. We didn't win the award, unfortunately, but we were a finalist. So thanks to anyone that voted, and congratulations to all the guys here that made the product great. Streaming Media Magazine, for those people that aren't familiar with it, if you go to streamingmedia.com, it is actually a really good website. If you're into the technology, go there, have a look around. There's lots going on. There's lots of really good articles on there as well. It's not a sales pitch for them. It's just a website that I use. Okay, so what journey have we gone on since this time last year? So what happened? Real Networks, which was the guys that we were tied up with before, so streaming, we made this product called Helix Media Library, and it was effectively a product that was being white labeled by this big American company called Real Networks, which is a big Seattle-based company, and they also had a line of products which were also called Helix, the Helix Server and the Helix Producer and various other bits and pieces that were Helix branded. So what happened was Real Networks decided that they didn't want to keep licensing out this Helix stuff and promoting that brand any longer for whatever reasons. And they decided that we were going to take over the management of the Helix Media Library product, which was great for us because we were developing it anyway. So as part of that process, which has gone on for about a year, we couldn't then continue marketing the product as a Helix product because it wasn't our brand. So we were told that within the period of a year, we would have to rebrand the product to something different, which we did. We went through a process of going through names, which, was a very long and arduous process. But eventually we got to a point where we went with this name Medial. Lots of different reasons for going for that. One, it's very short. Two, it's got media in it. Medial means something in the middle. We're generally in the middle of lots of different processes. And somebody also pointed out to me MEDIAL Media Library as well. But that didn't actually enter our thought process, so that's a bit of an accident. And then we just wanted something that was very short that we could get the web address for. So we have the web address medial.com as well. The other thing that happened as part of this Helix changeover was that as a result of Real Networks kind of saying they didn't really want to get behind the Helix thing anymore and license their products out to end users, is we use the product within our product called Helix Server. And we kind of strategically made the decision that if they weren't going to actively get behind developing the Helix Server, and that's the kind of the engine of our product really, we wanted to go with something that somebody was proactively developing and getting behind. So we switched just very recently. So the new version that I'll show you a bit later it uses the Wowzer streaming engine. It used to be called the Wowzer Media Server for as long as I can remember anyway. They're now calling it the Wowzer streaming engine. And one of my presentations today is specifically about Wowzer and how the migration from Helix to Wowzer will work, because that's the question that I get asked more often than any other question. And actually it's very simple the way it's going to work, but people want to know that. So I'm happy to go through that in quite a lot of detail actually, because people normally want to know the nuts and bolts of it. So now it's Medial with Wowzer streaming engine rather than Helix Media Library, which was using the Helix server. Other things that we've done in the meantime, so we've got a new website, which is medial.com. Some people will recognise on the right there's Chris. For people that didn't know, Chris has departed to go to Microsoft, but he's still on a video on our website, and we're going to keep him there. So that's medial.com. If you go there, that's got a lot of information and videos about the product. Probably a more useful website for existing users of the product is we put up a new help site, which is help.medialibrary.com. If you go there, this is kind of our documentation now. So we've gone away from creating PDFs and all that sort of stuff, and we've gone as an online system. So if you go there and you search and you want to look at specific sections, this has been put together. A lot of time has gone into making this as kind of user-friendly as possible. So if you go there, if you've got any issues, then that's the place to go. But it's more of a kind of documentation website than a knowledge base. So later, as in next year, one of the things that I've been working on with Dave is to create a much more user-friendly knowledge base as well, and we're in the process of doing that at the moment. This see more as kind of a documentation type website. And then support site, I mean, we brought in this thing called pam.medialibrary.com at the tail end of last year, and rather than redirecting it to the kind of the streaming system that we had before, we now redirect it to this Medial website. But it's the same system. You can log tickets and email us and do all that sort of stuff that you could do before. So we've got that as well. And you'll notice there, Dave in the bottom right-hand corner as well. Smiley face. We've got live chat through the website as well. So if you want to go on there, and if there's one of us online, we may well be there, and you can chat to us online as well. And then in the US, we've got presence in the US now, and we've got a guy, David Lowy, working for us out there, developing our business in the US, because we have a lot of customers out there. And we also have a distributor in the US as well. So there might be some people watching this online later that are in the US, because this will go out to all of our global customer base. David is the guy to get in touch with if you're in the US. I know that's not relevant to anyone in this room here, but you've got to appreciate it's going to be watched by people online as well. So just as a taster, I'm going to play this video which kind of introduces Medial. It's only a minute long. I'll play it for you guys. Oh, I was going to play it. Maybe not. Gremlins. Cannot play media. I won't play it then. I think I may have deleted the video from my presentation. So we'll play that video a little bit later. So as part of this introduction today, one of the things that I normally do as part of the intro, and that I got some gremlins in PowerPoint as well. We'll blame Microsoft for that. Here we go. One of the things that I normally do as part of this introduction that people normally find quite useful is I just run through some things that they're not hidden things with the current version, but they're things that people might not necessarily went in or are there. Because what we normally find is as we increment up through our kind of dot releases, we'll put things in. And being totally frank and honest with you, sometimes we don't do a particularly great job of letting people know that they're in there. So I normally run through what's in the current version, not the entire version, but just little bits and pieces that you may have missed that you may not know are in there. We'll go through V4, as in all the stuff that's gone into V4 a bit later, but this is a kind of useful exercise because I normally find people come up to me after this session and they say, oh, I didn't know we had that, and I didn't know we could use that, and this is a kind of a good way of doing it. So the first thing to say is that, I mean, a lot of people that I speak to don't actually know that there's a mobile version of the Media Library site. So if you go to the site on your iPhone or your iPad, for example, you will actually get the site render for that particular device. A lot of people don't know this. The other thing that a lot of people don't know as well is that you can upload from your iPhone as well. So before you could just view the library through your iPhone, now you can actually upload through it as well. So it's quite cool if you want to, you know, take a video or get a video from your camera roll or your photo library in Apple terminology. You can do that through this interface as well. And we adjust for changes in orientation as well. So if you shoot it like this, or you know, portrait or landscape, we can adjust for that as well. My recommendation, if you're shooting a video on an iPhone or an iPad, always do it in landscape if you can, because it looks so awful if you do it in portrait. But everyone seems to hold their phone like this, so you know, I'm probably swimming against the tide on that one. The other thing as well, as I said, on the iPad, one of the things that I found a lot of people use, which is sort of, it's one of those things that wasn't really developed as such, it was there by default, is that on the iPad is if you click on the browse for file, you can actually shoot a video there and then. We find a lot of people use the media library on the iPad and will do that. We'll actually click on the button, shoot the video there and then click to upload the video. So it's really cool if you want to do a kind of ad hoc presentation where you're just shooting yourself. The other thing that works in is Moodle and Blackboard as well. I'm not sure whether I'd want to use Blackboard on an iPad, but on Moodle, certainly, we get a ton of people that use our Moodle plugin on their iPad, and they'll use this functionality to kind of shoot a video there and then with their iPad and then upload it automatically. We do have webcam capture in our product that I'll show a little bit later, but this, if you're using an iOS device, is a really neat way of doing it. You just click on the browse button, then you can take a video and then upload it straight away. So it works pretty nicely. I'll come on to it later, but we've done quite a lot of work within Moodle so that our plugin works really nicely on the iPad, because we were just finding so many people were using it on the iPad. I mean, it surprised us, but it has happened a lot, that. The other thing, I mean, I was going through some stuff with Dave actually this week about kind of little things that are within the current version that people might not necessarily know. This was one of the things that I said that I might have to come for his help on actually, but this is actually something that I will fully admit that I didn't even know that you could do within our software, obviously fallen off of my radar. So as far as I'm aware, with this particular feature, if somebody doesn't have any upload rights, is that right? Any upload rights to upload to any particular categories, as in their group membership dictates they haven't got any upload rights at all, you can still allow them to directly access the content that's in their personal category that they go through Blackboard or Moodle. So it's kind of one of those things that we found where people were coming through in the software and they weren't able to access that personal category. Is that about right? Yeah. It's probably the only time I'm going to refer to Dave today. The other thing as well, again, this was introduced, I think, in 3.1 rather than version 3, is that if there's a particular assignment that has some submissions that have gone on through Moodle or Blackboard through the media library, and you want to search for all the videos that relate to that assignment, there's this little drop-down menu that you can select the assignment name, and then you'll see all of the videos that are associated with that assignment. So that's kind of cool as well. And I think that's also relevant for people logging in as regular users that created the assignment as well. You can disable or enable the upload of the associated files. So a lot of people have said, well, I don't really want people to upload PowerPoints. I don't want it to become a kind of document store. So you can enable or disable that and get rid of it as a step. And then you can disable or enable the language bar appearing within LTI. I think we did that for a customer that said that there were certain things within their environment where they said, you know, we don't want it so that the text is translated because we want people to prove that they can actually speak and understand English. So we did that so it could be disabled. This one's quite a cool one that was introduced in V3 as well. So if you've submitted some content through Moodle or Blackboard, let's say, and then you go into your regular media library account and you log in through the portal, by default, the content's going to be private. It's going to be something that you've uploaded to your personal category and no one else will be able to see it or embed it. If you want, when you log in, you'll be able to make that content public so that it is embeddable outside of Moodle or Blackboard by clicking on this little padlock icon. Because again, we had a lot of people that said, actually, I've submitted this thing through Moodle or Blackboard and I'd quite like to share it with other people. And they were able to do that by enabling public access to the video. The other thing, I mean, this has been in the product for ages, but I still get questions on it all the time, is can we batch upload a load of content to Medial that we already have? The answer is yes. We have like a watch folder within the Medial product. You dump your MP4 files along with the metadata, which is just a little text file or XML file that has all the metadata in it. You dump those into a folder and Medial works through them one after the other. So we get a lot of customers that will come to us from new that will say, look, I've got 200 odd videos or 2,000 odd videos, some of them, and I want to put them from my existing system into your system. How do I do it? We just say, okay, you need to use this kind of naming convention of the file and the XML. We can help you do that if you want. It's kind of just a renaming exercise. And then Medial will go through and upload all of that content. Well, it will ingest all of the content that goes into this watch folder. One of the things that we've got on our radar at the moment, and I'm kind of looking for people to help us with it, so if you're interested in this, come up to me in one of the breaks, is that we've had a lot of requests from people saying that they've got an existing system, lecture capture system, or another system that's creating a lot of content. I mean, I know John, who we worked with on his Tandberg video conferencing system, but we've got a lot of people that have got these existing systems that are creating content, and we'd like to become a kind of universal ingestion engine for lots of different content types and types of content that are produced by different systems. So if you've got a particular system and you'd like us to create a way of ingesting the content, let us know. The reason why I'm saying let us know is because if we go to those vendors and talk to them about it, they generally aren't interested because they don't want people converting out of what they've got, and they don't really want people viewing the content through anything other than their product. But from our side, it's a recognition that people do actually want a central repository of assets in addition to a lesson or lecture capture system. So we already have integrations with systems like TechSmith Relay, which a number of the people in the room today have, but we're looking to do more of a kind of universal ingestion thing where you would upload your media file and your XML, and then you could kind of match fields with fields in our database and it would just ingest it. So if anybody's got systems like Panopto or Echo or those sorts of systems, let me know, because we're kind of looking for friendly organisations to work with that are willing to work with us on that, because obviously getting access to those systems for us is quite difficult because we don't have them and they generally don't want to play ball with us for obvious reasons. Although I don't see it as competitive at all, I might add. So that's the intro over. That's our website, and if you want to follow us on Twitter, we don't have too many followers on this new handle, so yeah, feel free to do that.